If I give you a short overview, it's also a part of the Parliament, of the history of the Parliament of the World's Religion, because I was already involved in 1993, and it's now my fourth Parliament I am attending.
The religions in the news of the world are generally very often in very negative context. They are at the origin of hatred, enmity, wars. And I think it's a great event that here we have several thousand people representing more or less all religions of the world, who are in harmony, who discuss with each other, who have are not afraid to communicate. I think that's an indication that it is possible. What is my own program in all these things since very many decades already? There will be no peace among the nations without peace among the religions, and there will be no peace among the religions without a dialogue among the religions. And I am adding even, there will be no serious dialogue without having common ethical standards.
And so I gave a lecture about this topic, which proved to be prophetical, so to speak. Why do we need global ethical standards in order to survive?
When I attended the second Parliament of the World's Religions in Chicago in 1993, the idea of a global ethic was absolutely new, and I was most happy that after all the discussions we had, finally the Declaration towards a Global Ethic, which I drafted, was accepted, and the Dalai Lama was the first one who signed it, and other authorities, Cardinal Bernardin and others, supported it. So this was our Magna Charta, the Charter of a Global Ethic. Now I think at the Parliament of the World's Religions here in Melbourne, we see already that the idea is received. Everybody speaks about the global ethic. And I think what happened in the meantime is that everybody sees that the world is in a deep crisis. And it's very visible that it is not only a financial crisis, an economic crisis, a political crisis, but it's also a moral crisis. And we have to change again, I think, our procedure in world politics, in world economics, in world, or to a certain extent in world culture. I think we cannot have, of course, a unity of religions and of a unity of all the ideologies. We have to respect the differences of religions, but we have to see at the same time that we have something in common, and that is not a specific culture, that is not a specific religion, but these is a common ethic.
I was then invited by the Council of the Parliament to draft the text of a declaration toward a global ethic, which became the Charter of a Global Ethic, and which is the basis also for the present manifesto for a global economic ethic.
Because this manifesto for a global economic ethic is just an application of the Chicago Declaration to the present situation in the world of business. And they have, of course, not the special ethics in business. They do not need that, but they need really a consciousness what these old rules mean for the present business world. And after all the scandals we had in Wall Street and in balance falsifying and also, of course, in the political world, it is really necessary to have this emphasized. And you will be surprised how it is possible to transpose the Chicago Declaration towards a global ethic into a manifesto on a global economic ethic. That's a small difference with my former colleague in Tübingen, Joseph Ratzinger. Now Benedict XVI, who thinks that Christianity started with the meeting of the biblical message with Greek philosophy. Unfortunately, we have today a process of restoration after the Second Vatican Council. Pope Benedict, my former colleague Joseph Ratzinger, and I myself, we are the last two theologians of the Council, Periti, experts of the council who are still alive and active. And we have, of course, very different views of the whole development. I must say, I think the council was a great event. It changed the position of the Catholic Church radically with regard to its medieval liturgy, with regard to its tradition and estimation of the biblical message, with regard to the importance of the laity, even with regard to women. We had the beginning of a new orientation, and especially, of course, in ecumenical relations with the Protestant, Anglican, and Orthodox churches. And we had an epoch-making change with regard to Judaism, and by consequence also with regard to Islam and the Asian religions. And we have even another position with regard to the modern secular world. So the windows of the Church have been opened by Pope John XXIII, who was certainly for me the greatest Pope of the 20th century. But now the Roman Curia was always opposed to this change. They want to close the windows again. And already John Paul II, the Polish Pope, has done everything to be very present in the media, but inside the Church he was against freedom of expression, freedom of theology, freedom of women. And now his successor, my old friend Joseph Ratzinger, my old colleague Joseph Ratzinger, is going on his way.